calling all business owners. If you're right now in your business generating revenue each and every month and you're trying to scale to the moon, but you keep getting stuck when it comes to the funding phase, then this is for you. Let me tell you right now a story about Peter. Peter owns a health shop that's making and generating over $22,000 per month in sales. Sounds great, right? But despite his revenue, Peter couldn't get any funding until we got a hold to him. I'm telling you right now, banks are getting stricter each and every day. They're asking for way more documents. And on top of that, if you cannot back up the numbers that you say you are doing, you're gonna get denied. Because it's not enough to claim that you're making $1 million if your paperwork says otherwise. When Peter came to me, his credit was extremely bad. I'm talking about in the 500s. He had collections and charge-offs all over his credit report, and his personal profile was nowhere near in place. Now, the first thing that we did once Peter enrolled in the How to Credit Start program was to start working, of course, on his personal credit. I used a mixture of consumer law like 609 disputes and other legal methods to get things removed off his credit report, such as, of course, the collections and charge-offs. And we actually fulfilled just that. But I want to go ahead and let you know now, disclaimer, this process did take a few months, okay? This isn't some overnight fix or some unethical method that could possibly come back to hurt you later on in the years. Everything was handled properly, step by step. And slowly started seeing each and every one of those negatives come off. And not even just the collections and charge-offs. We're talking about personal information that wasn't supposed to be there and also inquiries, okay? Now, just because I was working on his personal credit doesn't mean that that was the end-all be-all and that was the only thing that's supposed to be going on right now, because that's how it goes into step 2 of while I was working on his credit, which was building his business credit and profile, okay? Business owners, you have to understand that this is starting to become very important as well. So in the process of me working on his personal credit, I gave Peter a detailed action plan to start building his business credit profile. And with the next one being, of course, which I already just talked about, was the vendor accounts. And that could be a multitude or a number of ones that could basically build your business credit profile. Not just like, just the Grangers and things like that. It could be a whole different setup of what I have, for each and every client. Sometimes clients are the same, sometimes they're different depending on how they are. And then the next one, which is public records and business credibility factors as well. So all this in a nutshell were things that we put on place and in place for Peter. So while I'm working on his credit, he was actually working on this. So it's kind of like you not just sitting there just twiddling your thumbs. It's like you have work to do and I have work to do as well. So we can basically meet in the middle. So basically Peter followed this blueprint so that if any bank or underwriter was searching for his business, it looked legitimate and fundable. Because you'd be surprised, even some of the businesses that you guys have, even if you generate a lot of money every single month, you think that everything is great, and sometimes it can be, but sometimes your stuff is still not seen by others. And if it's not a simple search, or if I put in a certain, if I put in certain information in Google and it doesn't pop up, then that's when the eyebrows start raising and red flags start going off, and that's what you don't want. So with that being said, that means in the midst of all these months, working on the personal credit, working on the business credit where I'm helping him or he's doing it himself or both, it's not just some random thing that I just gave him where it's like, hey, work on this, I'll see you later, I'll let you know when I'm done. No, because in the program, I always do this for all of my business clients where you have monthly accountability calls, and that is basically step 3. So for each and every month, Peter and I had one-on-one Zoom calls and check-ins to go over what has actually been done. What have we progressed on? Basically, that's what it is in far as the battle plan. So it could be a multitude of things that actually are being discussed on these calls. Sometimes there's intricacies, but let's just talk about just surface level. So for anybody that's actually in there, even for Peter, we actually reviewed his actual credit report as far as any updates or things that I might change or things of that nature that might be going on. So it's like, hey, this collection came off, but unfortunately it came back on, but I know exactly what to do to get it off. I'm going to be doing X, Y, Z, ABC to get it right back off. Don't worry. Hey, you're going to see some email, coming up. When you see it, do this, and then let me know, take a screenshot, send it to me, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, did you already do that? Because I know we talked about it earlier in the week. Okay, cool. Send it to me. Let me go ahead and do this while we're still on this call. The second thing we might do is we might track the progress of his personal and business credit tasks. So for the list that I actually give all of my business clients, it's always going to be, hey, did you do this? Did you do this? Hey, oh, you had some issues with this? Hey, let's go over it together. Let me go ahead and, share my screen. Let's actually do it together. So it might be, hey, you couldn't get into this. You couldn't find this. Hey, you wasn't sure if it was a net 30 vendor or anything like that. Let me show you how to actually do it. I'll do it for you, and I'll show you, just how to move forward from there, blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot of things as far as that. And also, I really gave him, sometimes, and other business owners, just credit hacks to accelerate the personal growth. So it's like, hey, we're right here, when it comes to, the personal credit, but I think that you should add this. I think you should do this. As soon as this, collection comes off, Peter, go ahead and apply for this, do this, and you're going to see your credit report skyrocket at least maybe another 10, 20, 30 points or something of that nature. And if it doesn't, we'll see what happens, but you're still improving your credit profile in the midst of everything. And see, this is all the stuff that, I talked about with Peter on these Zoom calls. And sometimes they can be Zoom, but sometimes they're also phone calls as well. But either way, there's always accountability calls, because it's not just, just having accountability on the clients, also having accountability on me to make sure I'm doing everything correctly, in the aspect of where we're actually trying to go, AKA the funding. So with step 1, step 2, and step 3, once all that is allocated into one and you start seeing a lot of progression, that's when your credit scores are actually ready, which is actually step 4, which is called credit score ready. And after a few months of grinding through the process, Peter's personal scores are now the 749s, 722s, and the 710s. And now we're ready to hit the funding phase, all right? And that actually goes into step 5, which is our Fund 5 sequence. So with that being said, when it comes to our Fund 5 sequence, there's so many different layers of how I do it. It's not just, hey, go here, go here, go here, go here. I wanna make sure that we actually hit certain banks at certain times to where if you did get 10,000 from bank A, bank B would never actually know. And bank C would never actually know that you went to bank A and bank B as well. So it's like just getting a whole funding sequence without having to trigger anybody, and nobody will have to know. It's like you just moving like a ninja trying to get all the money that you can. So with that being said, the first stop was, of course, Key Bank. And within the first 5 days, Peter got approved for his first $40,000 in business funding. No questions asked whatsoever. And just to tell you right now, with this 40K, this is just the first start. We're not even done yet. By the time we are finished, Peter will have over $100,000 in funding to scale his business even further, to have even more inventory, because he always says that he always runs out by the end of the week or anything of that nature. So I'm telling you right now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So think if we get 40 here, 40 here, 40 here, 40 here, okay? It's gonna be just like that, where you wake up in the morning and you have all the funding that you need to scale even further. So if you're a business owner that's generating $5, $10, or even $20,000 a month, but you're continuously stuck in the cycle of getting denied for funding, you're confused about what banks to actually look for, and you're confused about, is my business entity structuring actually in place to actually get the funding that I'm looking for? Then you need to do the same thing that Peter did, is sign up for the HowToCredit Start program. Because again, just by all the information I just gave you, we're going to fix your personal credit to have the same or similar scores just like Peter, build your business credit, and then position your business the correct way. And then you can walk through the exact same steps to secure $50,000 to $250,000 in funding. I'm telling you right now, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate Peter for allowing me to say his testimonies right now, even though we're still in the funding phase. But you could do the same exact thing. So book your call. I'm waiting on it right now, all right? And until next time, ladies and gents.